Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. The foulest stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver, for no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
Thanks, Josh Wilson from the Super Familiar with the Wilsons podcast for that thrilling opener.
Well, hello.
Hello, it's us.
It's us. We're back on the Sugar Coated Murder podcast.
Yes, and it's Ann and Karen, and we are ghost hunting in the middle of the day because we're too scared to do it at night.
Yeah.
But the good news is we have the absolute best tour guide in the state of South Carolina.
Yes, indeed.
We're very honored that Bruce Orr has given us his time
Nothing but the best.
and that he's going to give us some really incredible ghost stories.
Yes.
So,
Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you, guys.
welcome, Bruce.
Hello. Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's glad to have you. It's glad to have you
It's
back.
Just glad to have you back.
The podcast is happy.
Oh, that's good. First thing I just wanted to explain to you, because we're already getting off to a good start tongue-tied. So
Yeah, I know.
One of the things about Charleston is there's a difference between spirits and ghosts.
Yes.
Yes, ghosts come in haunted places, spirits come in bottles. And the
I
closer
love
it gets
that.
to the weekend, the more you find people possessed by spirits.
Yes, and I love that. I love being possessed by the spirits.
Yeah,
I
Like,
wish that we were having spirits.
I
personally.
Personally, it might
After
make this
it's all
easier.
said and done, we'll find the spirits. Let's talk about the ghosts for a little bit.
Yeah, we're also here to find the ghosts to see.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, a little bit of background. I'm a retired local law enforcement officer, and I was always skeptical when it comes to the ghost aspect of things. So, a couple of stories right off the bat from the law enforcement perspective. Back in 2012, I was doing a book project. I've written 5 books on South Carolina's ghost tales. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go through them tonight.
Oh, yeah.
But I did one called Haunted Somerville. And over in Somerville, South Carolina, there is a house which is known, or was known, as a Quackenbush List home.
The Quackenbush.
Quackenbush. Now, Quackenbush, that was the first builder. And List,
Oh, okay.
Michelle List was the owner at the time. So it had the first person that owned it and the last person. Since then, it's changed hands.
Ah.
But it's over near Rawlings School of the Arts. And the story is that the ladies of the house would wake up and there would be a Union soldier there, either standing at the foot of the bed or kneeling next to them and praying.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Now, as Bugs Bunny says, somebody took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. If he's wearing a blue uniform, he's in the wrong area.
He's totally lost.
Yeah, he's lost. He just made a wrong turn somewhere. Now, one of the persons that was vastly interested in this story was Bill Collins, who was the mayor at the time. His wife and his mother had encountered the ghost, both in that house. He had owned it, and they had encountered the ghost.
Wow.
So what I started doing was doing some research, and I found out that that house had been built on an area that was actually a military hospital by the Confederacy during the Civil War, and it was known as Red Hill. It was nothing but a big clay mountain.
Okay.
So you put the Civil War there, Confederate hospital. What about this blue soldier? So what ends up happening, I do the research, and I find out after the war is over and during Reconstruction, they stationed a unit over there called the 1st New Bern Regulars, and it was an all-black regiment, but their leader was Colonel James Beecher.
Mm-hmm.
James Beecher was a staunch abolitionist. He was Harriet Beecher Stowe, Uncle Tom's Cabin's older brother, and he was a minister. So now I put a blue soldier over there.
Yes.
That is a minister.
Yes.
All right.
So if you're an investigator and you have an armed robbery, and you develop a suspect, the next thing you need to have is proper identification. And you do that with a photo lineup, or you do it with a physical lineup. Well,
Right.
I don't have a physical lineup, so I did the next best thing just for giggles, and I created a ghost photo lineup. I went on Google, and I pulled up 6 pictures, 6 or 9, 6, I believe, of individuals that were from that era. And what you do when you have an armed robbery, you go to your victim and you say, okay, I've got this manila folder. It has multiple pictures in it. I want you to open it up, and I want you to see if the person that robbed you is in there. He may appear younger. He may appear older. He may not be in here at all, but I want you to take a look. Well, it's just completely bonkers when you go to the person that the ghost that you saw at the foot of your bed may be in here, may not be in here.
Oh, God.
So I want you to take a look. And I just was going through the motions. I just wanted to see how this would work out. So she opens it up, spends about 30 seconds, and she picks him right out. And she says, I'll never forget his eyes. And I looked at her and I said, oh, where's your restroom? She says, down the hall there, on the left. And I head down the hallway and I go into the restroom and I get a little upset and a little unnerved because I just developed probable cause that the ghost existed.
Yes.
You did.
And I was not expecting that to happen. I was not expecting her. I had to put money on it. She'd have never picked him out. She picked him out just like that.
Wow.
So that got me on the track to this. Now, some interesting things. I think we covered a little bit about this before at one time, but as far as law in this country, we have 2 types of law. We have civil law and criminal law. Civil law, if somebody comes and accidentally runs over your mailbox, you can sue them. If they do it on purpose or beat it down with a baseball bat, you can charge them criminally. So civil law and criminal law. Well, there is case law in this country on both sides that say ghosts exist. Civil law. In 1991 in New York, there was a man by the name of Jeffrey Stambowski. And he was buying a house from a woman by the name of Helen Ackley, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he put down the down payment on the house, and then he finds out it's haunted.
Oh, no.
Now, he doesn't want to raise his kids in a haunted house. He doesn't want the stipulation. He's worried about resale value, and he wants to back out of the deal.
Yeah.
Because she's already advertised this house as haunted. She's written an article for Reader's Digest saying the house is haunted.
Oh,
Right.
my word.
So now he wants out.
Yeah.
He takes her to court, and back and forth they go, back and forth they go. Often lower courts deny it. It goes all the way up to the New York Supreme Court. And the New York Supreme Court rules that for the sake of the sale of the house, the ghost actually exists and the house is haunted.
Wow.
It's one of those, it's called the Ghostbusters case in New York. And it's
wow.
where realty started changing. If you have a murder in the house, you have to report it. If you have a natural disaster or a fire or something like that that's affected the house, you have to report it. And now, if this is a haunted house, you have to report it.
Yes.
So
That really, that,
Yeah,
and that is that for
trickling down.
everywhere?
it's
That's-
starting to trickle down into some other states. A friend of mine just had a realty course on haunted houses.
No
in
way.
resale.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
love it.
amazing.
So it's trickling down, but it started in 1991, again called the Ghostbusters case. But they ruled that the house was indeed haunted, and they reversed the lower court's decision, and they gave Mr. Stambowski back his money.
There you go.
So there is civil law that says ghosts exist. But what about criminal law? That's a little bit different. I think it was about 1897 in Greenbrier, West Virginia. There was this woman, her name was Zona Easter Shue, and she married a man by the name of Trout Shue. Trout, yes, your
Yes.
friend there, Trout.
Yes.
Mhm.
But as far as the ladies are concerned, never marry a man named after fish or footwear.
I agree with that.
Yes, that's just
I
a
don't have
bad
a problem
sign.
with that either, yeah.
Yeah.
So
no.
she marries Trout. Now, her mother, Mary Easter, well, she does not like her new son-in-law. Her affectionate nickname for him is Satan.
Oh,
Oh,
So yes,
no.
there's no love lost
that's
there.
not good.
No, that's
And she
not a
thinks
good way to
there's something
start your
wrong with him.
relationship.
No, something wrong with him. So next thing you know, her daughter, Zona, is found dead at the foot of the stairs.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So they call all the people to investigate, and by the time they get there, Trout has her back upstairs. He's changed her clothing,
Of course.
and he's hugging her, and he's inconsolable. Nobody can get near her. So they rule it an accidental death. And then they bury her.
Oh.
And Mom is not satisfied. Mary Easter, for the next 3 consecutive nights, she starts praying. Well, she prays, and for the next 3 consecutive nights, her daughter comes back to her as a ghost.
Okay.
Oh.
First night she comes back as a ball of light. Second night she comes back as a full body apparition, and she's talking to her mother and telling her what had happened.
Okay.
That he was upset because there was no meat on the table for dinner. Well, you can't fix the meat if he's not providing it. So he starts getting in an argument with her. He violently attacks her, starts choking her, snaps her neck, and throws her down the stairs. She tells her mother all this, and while she does this, she actually turns her back onto her mother and spins her head completely around and continues on with the conversation.
Sugar, I would do that for you.
I would do that for you too. I'd be like, look what I can do.
Look what I can do. I literally got eyes in the back of my head now.
I am looking all around.
That would be good in some of this traffic out here in Charleston.
Wouldn't you know? I
Oh,
wish
my God.
more people would use their heads and necks
Yes.
to look in traffic.
Exactly.
Don't get me started on the traffic.
So she does this, and now after the third night, she's explained some things about the case. Well, Mom goes on a crusade, and she starts with the prosecutor, and she starts telling him this tale, and he thinks she's just a grieving mother. And he humors her for a while, but it gets too much. So he says, I'm going to look into it. And he does, and he talks to the coroner, realizes the coroner never examined the body. So the more he does this, the deeper down this rabbit hole he falls. Until he decides there is something wrong with this. He gets enough probable cause to get a search warrant from a judge and exhumes the body. But they have to wait because the ground is frozen in West Virginia. And they have to wait till it thaws out so they can get her out. Well, when they do, she's perfectly preserved. Because she's been frozen.
Of course.
So when they do
it.
the exam, they take the long neck down from her collar, and she's got bruised fingerprints on her neck. When they do the exam, the autopsy, they find out her neck is broken between the first and second vertebrae. The only vertebrae in your neck that you can spin your head completely around.
Oh my gosh.
So they start finding all this, and they charge Trout. Now, when he goes to trial, prosecutor says, all right, Mrs. Heaster, do not bring up any of this ghost junk. If you want to get ruined, you want your credibility ruined, you want all this to backfire on you, do not bring that up. Do not even go close to that. She said, I understand. So she didn't during her testimony. During cross-examination, the defense brought it up. And they were trying to discredit her, and it backfired on them. It's the only United States case where a ghost was allowed to testify by proxy through her mother and convicted her own killer.
Nice.
He got sent to life in prison.
Bye-bye, Trout.
That's exactly.
Naughty man.
Trout's gone. So now there is civil law and criminal law in this country that says ghosts exist. So as a retired law enforcement officer, who might argue with that?
Exactly.
Nobody. You can't argue. It's the law.
So that's a little background.
I love it.
Now, since we're on the Yorktown, let's go up here and talk about the Yorktown some more.
Let's do
All
it.
right, we're going to climb some stairs
Yeah,
now.
let's go into.
I got you back, sugar. I'm going to catch you if you fall backwards.
Now, as we travel to our next spooky destination, please enjoy this spooky reading from Antonio with the Cultworthy podcast. Take it away, Antonio.
Hello, my name is Antonio of the Cultworthy podcast, and this is Annabelle Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived with whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabelle Lee. With a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling and killing my beautiful Annabelle Lee. So that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels not as happy in heaven went envying her and me. And yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabelle Lee. But our love it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre down by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
We are up in the birthing quarters, and that is B-E-R-T-H, not B-I-R-T-H. We are sleeping, not having babies up here.
Thank you.
Now, a little bit background on this ship. Now, she was unusual from the very beginning. Believe it or not, during World War II, there were actually 2 aircraft carriers named Yorktown. The first one was sunk at the Battle of Midway by the Japanese. Now, the Japanese, they were always concerned that every time they sunk this aircraft carrier, it would reappear. So to the Japanese, it was always a phantom.
Oh.
So when they sunk the first aircraft carrier at the Battle of Midway, that was Yorktown CV-5, well, this ship was already in production and had a pre-designated name. But what we did is we changed the name. First, to honor the first Yorktown, and secondly, to confuse the Japanese.
Heck yeah.
We didn't want them to realize they sunk an aircraft carrier 6 months after Pearl Harbor.
Sure.
So it was a propaganda ploy. So to the Japanese, every time they sunk this ship, it kept reappearing.
I love it.
So they thought it was a ghost from the get-go.
Good.
Now, during the christening ceremony for this ship, Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox contacted Eleanor Roosevelt, the president's wife, the first lady, and asked her if she'd be interested in christening and sponsoring this Yorktown, since she had done the first one. Well, basically, she contacted them, and paraphrasing what she told them, is that really a good idea after what happened to the first one? As you remember, it's on the bottom of the ocean. Do you really want me to do the second one?
Well, isn't she witty?
Isn't she something?
So she agrees to it. Apparently, he's a silver-tongued devil, and he talks her into it. So she agrees to the christening ceremony. During the christening ceremony, Admiral Buckmaster is giving a speech. He had been the captain. Buckmaster.
Buckmaster.
Not Buttmaster. No. That's an exercise machine. That's something else. Completely different. The Buttmaster is something. I think Suzanne Summers did that. No, we're talking about Buckmaster. B-U-C-K.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Buckmaster is giving a speech, and 7 minutes into his speech, well, the ship decides to launch itself. The very first unexplained thing this ship did was at her launching, she launched herself prematurely.
Uh-oh.
Yep, Eleanor Roosevelt, she jumps up, grabs that bottle of champagne suspended by a cord, slings it into the ship, and it bounces off.
Oh, no.
Nope, not a good sign.
Oh, no.
She's a little athletic. She catches it on the rebound. She christens the ship herself, the Admiral, and everybody running down the pier trying to christen it on a drive-by christening as it heads off the water without them.
I like it.
From the very beginning, she's having unusual things happening.
A mind of her own.
She does. She indeed does. Now, the first captain of the ship, his name was Jocko Clark. Now, Captain Jocko Clark was Native American. He was full-blooded Cherokee. So
Nice.
he was the first Native American graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. Think about what that took during those times.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Now, during the christening ceremony for the ship, he had the chief of the Cherokee Nation come on board as a delegate. Think about that. That's probably the first time a Native American chieftain has sat on the quote-unquote good guy side of the table
Yeah.
since the Revolutionary War, but he put a blessing on the ship to protect it during its times of service.
Nice.
Now, whatever you believe, this ship served in almost 30 years. She served in 3 wars, World War II, part of the Korean War, and all the way through Vietnam. And during that whole time, she had 141 deaths upon her. Now, that's a miracle in that amount of time and that many wars. The USS Franklin CB-13 in one single day had over 800 men killed.
Oh, wow.
So this ship served in 30 years, 3 wars, and 141 men.
Amazing.
Now, what makes that interesting, though, is that, remember, it's named after Yorktown CV-5, the one sank at the Battle of Midway?
Right.
That ship,
It's fine. Shut up.
you're listening to the noises behind it? No, it's named after Yorktown CV-5, the one sunk at the Battle of Midway. That ship sank with exactly 141 deaths upon it.
No.
way.
Exactly. After that Cherokee blessing, this ship had no more or no less than its namesake, 141 for both your towns.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Now, we keep getting a little stranger
I
and stranger.
love this.
Now, we're going to go somewhere else for a little bit.
Okay.
What we're going to do right now, I think I'm going to talk about Jocko Clark a second, since he was Cherokee. And I've got a Cherokee ghost tale for you.
That's
strange story.
fun.
This is something you don't get too often.
No.
So when the Native Americans had all their tales, it was oral tradition. They would pass them on verbally. And what happens is they're not written down, except for one group who had their own language, and it was the Cherokee. The Cherokee had a written language where we have an alphabet that has a single letter or a single character for a single letter. They had what was called a syllabary. So they had a certain character for a certain syllable. So they wrote down their stories. And one of the stories they had was about a evil shapeshifter witch. And she would take on the form of an elderly lady. She would wear this hooded cloak, and she'd have one hand crammed into her cloak, and she'd huddle down, she'd walk along the paths, and she'd watch the children with their parents, little girls and mothers along the river, or little boys with their fathers picking vegetables from the gardens and the crops. And what she would do is she'd wait for one of those children to wander off. And then she'd call to the child, "Little girl, come to Granny. Let Granny help you. You have dirt and briars in your hair. Mother's going to be so upset. Come with Granny." Or she'd call to the little boy, "Little boy, come to Granny. Your clothes are filthy. Father's going to be so upset with you, and he may switch you. Come to me."
Granny is evil. She's a liar.
Now, Granny would take the child by the hand and walk off into the woods, and she would sit down. She'd have the child place its head on her lap, and she would brush the child's hair, and she would sing to the child in this beautiful angelic voice. Well, the child would fall asleep. She'd reach down and she'd kiss the child gently on the cheek to see if the child was asleep. And if the child did not stir, then she'd pull that other hand out from underneath her cloak, where she had one big, long, bony finger on the end of that hand, and her name was Spearfinger. She'd take that spear and she'd put it into the neck of the child, and she'd eat the child, because this is a happy story. Yes. Did you faint? Now, she would devour the children.
She ate the children.
Yeah, she loved children's liver.
I did not see that coming there, Bruce.
Fava bean.
Fava beans.
I thought she was going to suck out their soul or something.
I thought she was going to cut their heads off.
No, she just eats them.
Oh, just. She just eats them.
Obviously, this is not going over real well with the village.
You think?
Yeah, not at all.
Could you stop eating our kids?
So what the chieftain does is the chieftain sends out his fastest and bravest warriors, and they encounter her, and they give chase, and she outruns them. So this ain't no ordinary Granny.
No.
So what he does is
she a shapeshifter.
Yeah, he puts a curfew on the village, and he has everybody stay in, and then he has his troops go out and they dig these big pits. And in the bottom of these pits, they put these sharpened stakes sticking straight up and cover them up with limbs and debris, tiger traps, basically. Yeah. So what happens is they see her one evening and they give chase, and she runs and she falls into one of these pits. And one of the warriors runs up there to claim the victory. He's so happy. She's down in the pit. Runs up to the edge, and he's whooping and hollering and claiming that victory, but he did not look into the pit.
Oh, no.
She reaches up, grabs him by the ankle, snatches him down, and makes bloody work of him.
Oh, no.
And when they look into the pit, she has sheared off those spears. They have not penetrated her skin, and now she's violent and angry.
Oh, she's mad now.
She is mad.
She got that spear finger working.
And she got that spear finger. She might have that middle spear finger.
Yeah, I think so.
I
feel like she did.
She's real mad.
She's angry. So the warriors get around. They start firing arrows down in there, hitting her, and they're bouncing off. Now the chieftain's upset, so he starts praying to his greater power. And as he's praying, a sparrow flies down out of a tree and lands on his shoulder.
Oh.
And it's making noise. He flaps it away.
Oh, no.
Then it comes down and it lands on his left shoulder. He slaps it away again. Well, the third time it lands on his head, it grabs a beak full of hair and it flies away. Snatches a wad out of his head. Now he's got his attention.
Right.
And it lands back on his shoulder. Now he's been praying for divine intervention. Yeah. And he's been ignoring it. It's been there all along. Sure. Because now the bird's got his attention. He realizes the sparrow is speaking to him in his native tongue.
Ah.
And what the sparrow tells him is to shoot for her wrist, the one underneath the bony finger, because that's where her heart is. And if you shoot her there, it will penetrate her heart and it will kill the witch.
Okay.
So he does so himself. He takes aim, he fires, that arrow goes to her wrist. She lets out a blood-curdling scream. She bursts into a ball of flame and disintegrates into ash.
Ooh.
And that's the end of the wicked witch known as Spearfinger.
Oh.
And that's where the Cherokee tell us, you get that little phrase, the little birdie told me. That's where it came from, according to the Cherokee.
And here it was Jack Sparrow.
Yes,
The
there you
whole
go.
time.
Now, it's also a cautionary tale
Yes.
from the Cherokee to tell children not to wander away from their parents.
Don't wander
But
away.
also talk to strangers. But also, it illustrates, too, that sometimes your greatest advice comes from the least likely source.
Yes.
And just because something seems insignificant,
Pay
not that great
attention.
and big, pay attention anyway.
Yes.
So there's your life lesson from the Cherokee.
And
Yes.
if you don't listen to the bird, he will snatch you bald.
That's right. Exactly.
That's a really good
and it
lesson.
all goes back to Jocko Park.
Jocko.
Our Cherokee chieftain and captain of the ship.
Love me some Jocko.
Way to
So
go,
let's head this
Jocko.
way.
Okay.
Let's head this way. See what else we can encounter.
Here we go. All right, so I
Oh,
got
I
your
have the
back.
chills. Why do I have the chills?
Oh, yeah, because there's a little bit of cool air right here.
All right, welcome to our hangar deck. Now, as you can see, all the aircraft here, mostly World War II and Korean aircraft. Now, back in 2012, Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters came on, and they did an investigation on the ship. Now, it was an episode called Haunted by Heroes. And when the episode was released, it was well received, and it was actually the first time that Patriots Point had acknowledged that there might be a ghostly issue on the ship. Now, the stories have been around for quite some time. This is the first time they actually acknowledged it.
Nice.
Now, when the TAPS came out here, the ghost hunting group for ghost hunters, Jason Hawes was interviewed. He's one of the leading members, founders of TAPS. He was interviewed by the local newspaper. He described the Yorktown as a hotbed of paranormal activity.
Oh,
End of quote.
hotbed. Wow.
Hotbed.
Hotbed.
He said that each of his individual investigators had experiences on here, and we put them into teams. All the teams had experiences. He said that is very rare to have that much activity. So after the episode aired, it was well received, and then Patriots Point got with a local publisher, History Press, and they asked if there was anybody that might be interested in doing a book. And
Oh.
yours truly was available.
Yay!
So in 2012, I came out here to do this book project, Ghosts of the USS Yorktown. And that was 2012 when I intended on coming out here, interviewing a bunch of people, making a bunch of recordings of their statements, taking a ton of pictures, going somewhere else, and then like renting a cabin,
Yeah,
and then writing a book.
yeah.
Well, that was 2012. You see where I'm at now. This is 2012, but I'm still here.
Oh, you're still
yeah.
here.
So yeah, I'm
Okay.
still here.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
I got you.
I don't plan on going anywhere else. That shows you what I think about the paranormal aspect of things, but also the historic aspect and also the great ship itself.
Yes.
It is a wonderful vessel. Now, we've got a bunch of campers coming through
I
here.
know.
We've got
I
a
just
little
think
herd
it's
of
so
campers.
great that
They're-
the Boy Scouts come
They're
and camp on the
staying on the
weekends.
ship.
They are so much braver than we are.
Yeah, we have to
seriously.
come in the middle of the day.
See, I know. Watching
don't do
all the young
nighttime.
ones pass
We don't
by.
do nighttime. We just do daytime.
So
I love it though.
when I finished, or when I was doing the book, I found out there were a couple of individuals creating a ghost tour on the ship.
Oh,
So I met with them, and we worked out a deal where I would stay on, help write the tour. I would do the tours. I would also help teach people.
sure.
But I found out they were doing paranormal investigations.
Oh,
So I kind of negotiated to where I could host those. I didn't want to do them. I wanted to tell people where things are, and I wanted to observe.
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So since 2012 to about 2020, I've probably done over 60 investigations on the ship.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's been interesting.
Yeah.
But as they say, you never forget your first time.
Right,
Something on here.
right.
Wait, is that about ghosts?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
Yeah, it's all about
It's
the
all
ghosts.
about the
All
ghosts.
about
Kind
the
of
ghosts.
podcast.
Keep
Oh my
forgetting.
God, every time.
And there's
Ah.
we don't even have spirits with us
I
tonight.
know, it's not even the spirits. We can't blame it on the
Yeah,
spirits
I know.
either.
Just blame it on me.
Well, what happens is January 23rd of 2013, I'm hosting a paranormal investigation for a mom and 3 teenage girls, yippee-ki-yay.
Yay.
Now, this is actually a birthday present for a young girl that loves the ghost hunting aspect of things, and
Sure.
she's brought her best friends and her mom. So I'm hosting it. We're down below deck. Back then, they'd shut the power off in the ship, and it would be probably close to 97% dark.
Wow.
And once the power went out, so did the heat. So within 30 minutes, it's colder inside the ship than it
It
is
is
outside.
outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're down below deck in the wee hours of the morning in the pitch blackness, and we're hearing metal door slam. These doors don't blow closed with wind. And then they're hearing muffled conversations and footsteps.
No way.
Yeah, something that us folks that have been here a while get kind of used to.
Yeah.
This just comes with the territory. So we come back up here onto the hangar deck. And we're up here, and we're standing a little bit on the other side of that information booth, which was not there at the time.
Sure.
But we're standing a little bit further back. And as we're standing up here talking and regrouping after that, two of the young ladies point in this direction, and right here where we're standing, it's illuminated by the drink machines, and they see a person walking by.
Oh.
So they turn to me and they say, "Who is that?" And I look over here and I say, "It's just one of the security officers. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal."
Okay.
Well, Mom says it's neither the security officers I saw tonight. And what she means is one's an older black gentleman, one's a young blonde female, and this is definitely a young white male you can see walking in the light. So I just say, it's just another security officer forgot something. It's not a big deal. So we continue to have our conversation. I'm watching him out of the corner of my eye, and Mom and the girls scan around with those big square battery camper flashlights, and they light up this whole end of the aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I notice something they don't notice, and I notice he's not wearing a jacket that says security on the back, like the security officers.
Right.
So my brain defaults to cop mode, and I think we have a trespasser.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So now I've
Intruder.
got to find out who he is, because if he gets off the hangar deck and disappears, we have to shut everything down, turn every light on, and find him,
And
because
clear
we
it.
don't know
Yeah.
if he's a threat. So what I tell them is I'm going to try to figure out who he is. So I begin to call to him, and I'm hoping you say, "Hey, I'm just Joe with maintenance," and that's the end of it. But no, he doesn't even slow down. Hands in his pockets, steadily hurrying towards the tail end of the ship.
No. Oh.
So I tell them, I've got to wait. I've got to find out who he is. Y'all need to wait right here. I've got to go down there and find out who he is. So I start sprinting towards him. And as I get to about 20 feet of him, he makes a left towards that stairwell down there, as I anticipated. But what I did not anticipate was a pretty round buttons on the U.S. Navy pea coat he's wearing.
Oh, God.
He's wearing a Navy pea coat. He's got a hat on and some sort of writing across the forehead. And I start rapidly downshifting. That's
Yeah,
not what
it's
I
like,
wanted to see.
Exactly.
Exactly. Now,
Throw that in reverse.
exactly. Now, he makes one more step towards the stairs, and then there's no longer anything in front of me.
Oh.
Exactly. And now, there is a collective gasp, and one of the young teenage girls proceeds to drop enough F-bombs to sink this aircraft carrier.
Oh, right.
So that is the only time you're allowed to cuss in front of an adult like that, apparently. Using that type of language.
I completely agree.
I agree with that, too. Now, she's either, one of two things has happened. She's either psychic and read everything in my mind, or she's seen exactly what I've seen. And I'll take either one at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately for me, security has come out because they've heard the running, and Mom and the girls run over there to the security officer. That gives me a couple of seconds to take all my fecal matter and shove it back into my sock. Because I've had a lot of things happen in my life, but I've never had a person vaporized. That takes a little
In
getting
pursuit.
used to.
I'm in pursuit of
I'm
the
in pursuit.
suspect.
Whoop.
He's not there.
Not there anymore.
No.
Oh, that's a call to spirits right there.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
that is definitely. I'd be like, bring on the spirits
That's
now.
exactly. So we all go over there and we have a conversation. Pretty much everybody's seen the exact same thing except two of the young ladies, and he said his hat was different. And what they meant is his hat looked like a chef's hat, which is interesting because since the beginning of the United States Navy all the way up to 1963, they had a hat called the U.S. Navy flat hat. They stopped using it in 1963, actually the year before I was born. So these young teenage girls, would they have known that?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But across that forehead of that hat, it has a gold writing U.S. Navy, exactly where I saw the writing.
Right.
So we all saw the same thing.
They
Yeah.
have those on display in some of the display cases at the Pentagon, by the way, because I've seen them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. There's only one active duty sailor in the whole United States Navy that still wears that hat, and that's
Really?
Donald Duck.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the only one that still wears it. He gets away with not
But
wearing
he's
any pants.
he doesn't have to wear pants.
He
So he
doesn't have to wear
doesn't have
pants
to wear
either.
government issued hats either.
Nothing.
Don't ask, don't tell. So, anyway, let's head on down here.
Oh,
Okay.
my God.
We're going to go, I think we're going to work our way towards a place where we do the actual investigations on the ship.
That's so
Take
fun.
you guys into an area.
Oh, I just got chills. The universe is saying, come
I've been told
here.
it's just a cold breeze.
Sugar.
Now, on the ship, there
Are
is a
you running
particular,
somewhere?
I don't know. I'm excited to get there.
Roll, lady.
there is a particular phantom on the ship that is often heard but rarely ever seen.
Oh, we didn't sign up for phantoms.
Now, this phantom, what happens is one day he was walking along the piers of Pearl Harbor enjoying that nice Hawaiian sun. Along come two Yorktown pilots and they snatch him up. They throw him in a trash can. They put a lid on it. They kidnap him, Shanghai him, and force him into the United States Navy against his will.
Wow.
Oh,
And
man.
he is a very unhappy puppy.
I don't blame
And that's
him.
exactly what he was, a very unhappy puppy. And his name was Scrapper Shrapnel.
Oh my gosh. It really is a puppy.
He was a puppy.
Oh my gosh.
Now, he became the pilot's mascot. And as you can see, they made him an honorary pilot right here.
Yes.
He's in his uniform for those that can't see through the radios.
I don't
And all
understand what their
the social
problem
medium.
is.
But he is in an aircraft, and he's
Oh my
wearing his
gosh.
own uniform.
Yes.
Now, I am a dad, a stepdad, and a granddad. So from this photograph right here, I can't help it. I'm obligated by contract to tell my stupid dad jokes. And this is my only stupid dad joke on this. Being in this aircraft, dressed in this pilot's uniform, I actually wonder how good he was in the dogfight. Looks overqualified to me. Oh,
Yuck.
I'm here all week, folks. Now, Scrappy stayed on this ship for about a year. And then he retired and went happily ever after to live with other people. But when he died, he came back and he haunts here.
Oh.
He's often heard wherever the pilots would be, the pilot ready room, the mission briefing rooms, the hangar deck, the flight deck. Wherever the pilots go, he would be there.
Oh.
Often heard. Now, he's rarely seen, but one night we were doing back in the forecastle area, which is the forward part of the ship where the anchor chains come out.
Uh-huh.
We were back in there doing one of our tours, and a young lady captured a picture of Scrappy up on, of all things, the catwalk.
Oh my
Where are you going to
God.
find a dog? On the catwalk. So
I
she
don't
captured
blame
him, keep
him.
him around the corner. So
No
Scrappy haunts this
way.
ship.
So great.
So there's our Scrappy. So let's
Scraps.
walk
I
back
love
here
it.
to our investigative area.
Okay.
Now, Scrappy, actually, from my understanding from a historical point, he served in both the United States Navy and the United States Army.
Wow. He was
What
busy.
happened is there was a visiting band here, and, well, Scrappy took a great dislike to the band leader.
Oh no.
And the story is that one day, the band leader and the whole band were out there on some downtime. They were sunbathing on on the flight deck up there, getting some sun.
Mhm.
And Scrappy did not like that, and he just marched out there. And he did not like this band member at all, so he cocked his leg and relieved himself upon that band member's head. So what happens is they play Easter egg with Scrappy. All the pilots are hiding him here, and the band members are searching for
Oh,
him.
that's funny.
Well, they find him, and they put him in a package, and they put him on an Army transport,
That's
and they
mean.
send him away.
What?
Exactly. The band members found him. So, Captain does an investigation. He finds out that Scrappy had been put into the United States Army.
Oh, no.
Now, they adopted him immediately, so that's how he served in the Army, but the captain turned around and went back and got his crew member. That's how important Scrappy was.
Yes.
So Scrappy came back to the
You don't
Yorktown.
leave a man behind
But
or a
for
dog.
a brief second, he also served in the United States Army.
Way to go,
So Scrappy
Scrappy.
served in
Wow.
both.
That's
Scrappy,
really
yeah.
impressive.
Scrappy is impressive now. All right, let's head this way.
Oh, Jesus, we are.
Yeah, we are deep in the guts.
Come on through here.
There's not a lot of air in
Oh, Bruce,
here.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's
I don't
fine.
like it.
You're
I don't like
good.
it.
Oh, I was good. I left the lights on down here. Usually when we go back down here, it's pitch black in the back.
I
It
cannot
is
imagine.
Like, we are in it.
All right, you guys
There's
go.
no windows.
It's fine. You're
Oh, my
good.
God. Do you smell gasoline?
We're on a ship.
We're gonna burn. Oh my
We're gonna
God.
burn.
We're gonna burn.
Oh, Bruce is going
Bruce,
to take care of
what are
us.
we doing?
We're going
Oh,
into
thank you,
the
Jesus.
guts and bowels of the ship here. where we're
Into
doing
the
our first
bowels.
investigation.
Okay, you got this, Shara. Well, they'll tell Mama we love her. She's going to be like, you crazy girls. I never told you to do that.
Where in the Sam hell are we?
Well, we're in the guts. We're in the bowels.
I don't see windows. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it.
What's happening? Bulldog Tours actually does paranormal investigations on the ship. So the Yorktown was gracious enough to give us an area. Are you out of breath because of the
She's
trip or the ghost?
claustrophobic. It's fine. She's good. She's fine.
It's good.
Get it together, sugar.
good?
Don't make me
We'll be all
slap
right.
you. We're good. This is fine. It's U.S. Navy stuff. It can't hurt us.
Now,
Are you kidding? It could suck the
Bulldog
life right
tours.
out of us.
No.
paranormal investigations, and this the Patriots Point, the Yorktown, has been gracious enough to give us an area to do these investigations in.
That's so
So
nice.
that's where we're going to step through. This is an unrestored area of the ship.
Bowels,
So-
the bowels of the boat.
Now, I left the lights on for us. I was gracious enough to do that. for
I'm
you
going to
guys.
hold the microphone in case she turns around and runs.
So let's go back here and see what we may observe or may hear as we go through and talk.
Yes.
Holy Jesus.
Well,
what?
we're never going to hear the ghost, Sugar, if you are like having a panic attack.
Lord have mercy.
Oh my God.
So, unrestored area of the ship. So this is our desktops. So just don't fall over the yellow barricades.
You said
and that.
death stop?
Yeah, we're stopping you from
Yeah.
going to your death.
Yeah, don't go to your death, Sugar.
Let's go. I don't know what to do. Let's go.
Wow. I mean, you couldn't find your way out of here if you had a map, like I couldn't.
It would take several months for them to find their way around the ship really well.
Oh my God, I don't like it. What happened? Where are we?
Well, there's some M&M wrappers here, so humans have been here.
The whole reason that the Navy said, go ahead, take this part. There's a reason. Oh,
No.
it's another death trap.
Death, stop.
Whatever.
Oh my God.
I love it
Stop,
back
I
here.
say trap.
All right, here's another one,
Doesn't
Sugar.
that all the way down
Wow,
to
that
the very,
goes
very
right-
bottom?
Oh my gosh, it really does.
What?
It goes all the way down.
Don't
It's
look,
like a
don't
rock.
look. What if somebody's looking back?
Here, now this is a decontamination area.
Oh man, I don't feel like there's any oxygen.
There is. It's lots of
Well,
oxygen.
here, there'd be oxygen in here because this is a dressing station for if you were injured or you had to
Yeah.
decontaminate. So there would have been oxygen back
Oh
here.
my God.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Are you kidding me?
So, yes, now we're in an unrestored section a little bit further away from people.
Oh my
Now,
God.
to give you an idea of this ship was of the Essex class. That was the largest classification of aircraft carrier of its day. The Yorktown belonged to that. Now, this ship, you saw it from the outside, is 1/3 the size of a modern day aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
So you could technically fit 3 of these on a new one.
Yeah,
That's
she
unfathomable.
petite. She a petite.
Yeah, she is small. Now, if you cut her open and you laid her out flat, she would cover 5 acres.
Okay.
She was a floating city.
Oh.
And they had everything in here for a city. They had barbers, they had grocery stores, they had all sorts of things.
Mhm.
So just imagine that. And every city has ghosts.
Of course.
So why would this be any different?
Wouldn't
And
be.
that's the way you have to look at it. So we're in a back, an unrestored area. What happens back here is when we do the investigations with our equipment, we have interesting things happen back here.
Oh my gosh, tell us.
Now,
Tell us.
this, again, people would have been injured back here. So we've
Sure.
had some people pick up on what they call,
What is that? Oh, is it a...
that's something rolling above us somewhere.
I think
So
it's a
that's
suitcase.
electronic. They had electronic voice phenomenon, EVPs.
Okay.
So that's disembodied voices. So sometimes back here, people have recorded people screaming,
Oh no.
crying back here, because again, they would have been injured.
Yeah.
Another area, though, that I like when I did the investigations, I stopped doing them a while back, and we've got a bunch of great people with this company that still do them.
They do?
Yes,
Oh,
they
that's
do them.
wonderful
So,
news. Sugar, I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Oh God.
one of the areas back here that happens to be my favorite area, that seems to be pretty active, believe it or
Oh
not,
my God. I really do feel sick.
Don't be sick. You can't be
the
sick.
restroom.
Oh, the restroom. Well, I'm sure they have a lot of activity. Sugar, don't go down there. It's a death
Yeah,
stop.
let's go
God,
this
it's
way.
a death trap.
And I'll get you out of here momentarily.
It's fine, Bruce. Take your time. I like it down here.
What are you talking about? There are no windows.
It's right here.
Oh.
Watch your step on that lip.
There's a lip.
Well, there's some bolts up here they're exposed to, so be careful.
Oh
with
my
that.
God. Where are we, Bruce?
We are
They're
in
toilets.
what is known in the Navy as the head.
It's the
Or
head.
It is the
God.
toilets.
I don't think
The
as
potty
women we're
room.
supposed to be in this part.
Oh.
This
my
is
God.
a potty room. Now, believe it or not,
There's a urinal
When
right
they-
there, Sugar.
Oh.
when they set things up as their equipment, this is one of the most interesting and most active.
Oh,
So
really?
I guess ghosts do go potty.
They go poo-poo.
They
And then
go
they go
potty.
boo.
Yeah, they go boo and poo at the same
Oh,
time.
my gosh.
Now, what they have done back here is they set up a grid, and basically it's a laser grid. It projects a series of laser dots on the walls, the ceiling, and the floor called
Yeah.
a ghost grid. One of the things that I saw that I've never seen anywhere before other than this place is that about knee high you would see those dots bouncing off of things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they shouldn't bounce off of anything unless it's something solid. So could it be dust particles? Maybe, but I've never seen that much concentrated. It was actually two different tones. It would be almost like a solid beam of light down here, and it'd be smaller up here. So we didn't know what it was blocking. But oftentimes you would get movement in the stalls here too as people are videoing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the ghosts are hitting the bathrooms back here.
They're hitting the head.
Yeah, hitting the head back here. And
yeah.
That's where the term really comes from.
Wow.
So, yeah. Are you okay still? Back?
No, I'm not.
You don't want to go sit on one of the potties?
No, I do not.
What's around this corner? Like, I don't understand. Is it?
That's
It just
none of our
goes.
business.
It's just a cabinet.
It's a deactivated cabinet.
It's none of our business.
It's
It's where they
deactivated.
keep the extra TV.
Is that a mirror?
Yes, it is.
Look
Or
in
was it
that
was a
mirror.
cabinet, actually. Part of a cabinet.
Oh, it's metal. I was
Yeah.
going to say, look in the mirror and see if there's anything behind you.
You look in the mirror.
I can't. I'm doing the recording. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to
Which
you
way are we
guys back
going?
the way we came in.
And just take your time because this is nice.
Oh my God, what is wrong with
Look
you?
at that.
Oh my
That's
God.
I just wanted to get you guys away from all the crowd.
I
and all the
agree,
cameras
Bruce.
that
I
were
like
in there.
it.
So it's nice and quiet back here so you
It
can
is.
record.
And look at the nice, these are like captain's quarters and stuff, right?
Yeah, that would have been more of the higher ranking folks back in these.
Yeah, I would
areas.
think so. A cot
Actually,
with
there was one
springs.
that had carpet in it, so
Oh my
I think that was
gosh.
a rarity.
Yeah. That was a highfalutin. He might have had some stars on his uniform for that one.
Wow.
She's like, there's another death stop, Sugar, so don't step in it. What was this?
It's just a thing.
Oh, maybe they lay
That
like,
was they cut some of the stuff down there, but it was actually what was in this section right here would have been a foam fire suppression system.
oh,
So
okay.
where that would have created the foam back here, forced it through those tubes, and then it suffocated the flames.
Okay.
They had something happen.
Sure.
So that's what that would have
That's
been
cool.
right there.
I can't take you anywhere.
So I'm going to get you back out of this section into some of the bigger sections, and we'll go to the flight deck and wrap it up there.
Oh my God, where'd he go?
He's right here. He's not going
I'm
to
right
leave
here. I had
us.
left you.
Now we're out back in the place where you thought there was no oxygen, but turns out there is
Oh my
oxygen
God.
up here.
More oxygen in here than there was back there, wasn't it?
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Again, in 2012, I talked about that Pond in Somerville book. So it's kind of hard to do this one without visuals, but I am because we walked over into a display area that has some different things here.
Yeah.
Now, back in 2008, I had a friend named Ike. I'm going to try to crucify his name, Alcacilianos, but Ike is close enough.
All right.
Now, he ran a group called Dark Waters Paranormal. And what he was doing around Halloween is he was going to put on an interesting show, so to speak, for Charleston City paper. He was going to do a paranormal investigation down at the Somerville Armory.
Okay.
And he invited them along with a photographer, and they were going to watch what happened. And the story is what happened down in the Somerville Armory is there was a young man that came back from a deployment. And when he did, he found out that his wife had left him. Distraught, he went into the place, went into the shower, and as he was taking a shower, he shot himself in the head, committed suicide.
Oh.
And the place was haunted. The bathroom doors bang, their stalls open, all sorts of things. Full body apparitions. So we go in and we do the investigation. Ike has invited me to help set up equipment and monitors, and we do. We set up all this equipment. And we go through this whole investigation, the whole evening, with this reporter there and the photographer. And not a single thing happens. Absolutely zip. So they take some photographs, the photographer did, and they put it, they do an article, and it's Who You Gonna Call?
Oh, that's
And it's
fun.
kind of, they're making tongue-in-cheek fun of us, but going along with it.
Yeah.
And they put this photograph up. So I framed it, and I stuck it in my office. And 3 years later, I take it down, and it's sitting on my desk, and my wife comes by, and she looks at it, and she says, "Who's that in the picture with Ike?" I go, "What do you mean?" And she's that person right there. And over, looking out behind Ike, where he's looking at a computer monitor, over further from Ike, looking out the windows and the doors, is a soldier.
Oh,
Wow.
And he's standing there in full uniform. And what is interesting and why I stopped is he's wearing what's called the M1 helmet.
Uh-huh.
Ah.
Now, the M1 helmet, they stopped using that in 1985.
Okay.
So this soldier is wearing a helmet they stopped using in 1985, but we photographed him in 2008. So the whole time we thought we had not captured anything, the photographer accidentally did. It was a paranormal photobomb is what it actually was.
Yes.
So listen
Did
on
you go
us
back
there.
to the guy and see?
Yeah, actually, when I wrote the Somerville book in 2012, I contacted Jonathan Stout, who was the photographer, and told him about it, and he allowed me to use it in the book. But also, he was fascinated. He was stunned. He had no idea what he had captured in that photograph.
Amazing.
Wow.
So nobody knew until my wife.
Until your
actually
wife,
saw
she wins the prize.
it. So, exactly. She did. She won the prize. She married me.
Yeah. That's where the scouts go.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Got you guys through here.
Thank you. I can't take her anywhere, Bruce.
Lord, we were inside it.
We were in the colon.
It was close.
That's it. Let's head this way.
I felt like the colon was.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, what does it matter? It's a person. It's a real person. You need to speak to somebody. You just start sneaking around. My gosh. We're going to put a bell around you.
My knife.
And I was leaving her behind. I was like, I'm gonna go and you're on your own.
Again.
A full body apparition right there.
Again. A ship is big enough to hold 3,000 people.
Yes, you never know who's going to sneak up on you.
That was awesome.
Oh,
I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut through here. We're going to go up to the flight deck for a few minutes.
okay.
Take a look out at our wonderful Charleston Harbor.
Yeah.
We're going to take the escalator up.
Yay.
We're going to walk up it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were put in 1953 for the jet pilots and their heavy equipment. It has gaps in it that'll cut your toes off.
Oh, no.
We want you to go home with your own toes and no one else's.
Wow.
So let's head up this way.
It really is an escalator.
It is.
Oh, my God.
God.
If you turn around, there's a photograph of a fellow with that heavy jet equipment.
Yes.
So he's riding the escalator.
He deserved it.
This is how I get my cardio in. Welcome to Ghost Cardio.
Yeah, seriously. I'm going to have to take a nap on the deck.
Well, the good news is we made it to the top. The bad news is we're going to have to go back down it in a little bit.
Oh, no.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just going to lay down up here.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take you to bed. Okay.
You could always have gravity help you on the way down there.
No.
Yeah.
That helps me enough already.
Welcome to the flight deck.
Nice.
Wow.
This is our wonderful Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge.
Yes, it is.
Now, on wrapping it up, I guess, I was going to give you from our Dark Side tour.
Yes, we
And
like the dark side.
tour is not a ghost tour. Repeat, not a ghost tour. This is basically a PG-13 R-rated adult history tour.
Well, that's very
Yeah,
scandalous.
so
Spicy.
for any children
Wow.
that are listening,
No
this would be the
children listen
time
to this
turn
podcast
your
because we
podcast
say
off.
fuck all the
Right,
time.
I know.
No, Mama.
I'll
No.
just,
Mama.
I'll bleep it out.
So what happens?
She'll know though.
What happens is our wonderful Charleston Harbor out here. So about 1718, we wake up one morning, and lo and behold, out there in the Charleston Harbor, there are 4 ships. That's not unusual, these 4 sailing ships, but what is unusual is the formation that they're in. It looks like they've created a blockade.
Oh.
So we get on our little telescopes and we look out there, and they're all flying black flags.
They're
Honey,
pirates.
we have pirates for breakfast, dear. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
wow.
And the biggest, gnarliest looking ship with 40 cannons all around it is flying the flag of Edward Teach. Blackbeard is in the harbor.
Yes.
And next to him is Stede Bonnet's ship. And then 2 other pirate ships. So we got 2 prominent pirates,
Yeah.
Blackbeard and Stede Bonnet's in the harbor. Now, and they have created a blockade.
Well,
Now, there's a ship called the Crowley that tries to make a run for it, and the captain is an idiot. He's captured in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
So now they have hostages, and on board the Crowley is Samuel Ragg and his son, prominent Charleston businessman, merchant, and politician. So now they got high-end people for a ransom.
wow.
Now they hold them for ransom, and what do they want? Do they want gold and gems and jewels and all that wonderful
No.
stuff we call the booty? Nope, they want
They want
nothing
the
to,
booty.
They don't want the booty. No, they want nothing to do with the booty.
Oh.
That's why they're here. See, once a year out in Ocracoke, North Carolina, they have a big party called the Ocracoke Orgy. And they eat, drink, and sleep with everything that moves. So now there's an outbreak of syphilis among the pirates.
No, they need an antibiotic.
Yes, they need treatment.
That's
They're
what they
for
hear.
treatment.
That's exactly what they're here for.
They got to get the ooze stopped.
Oh,
Exactly. So now what they're here for is mercury. That is a treatment. Now, I do not advise using mercury for medicinal purposes.
No, I think we
Now,
don't
you've
do
heard
that
of the Mad
anymore.
Hatter, right?
Yes.
Yes. There's truth to that because when hatters are making animal pelts into felt, they use mercury. They absorb it through their skin, they inhale it, and it drives them cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It creates mercury poke.
I love it.
So if you're 4 months, you're bonkers. Anything further than that, you get homicidal and paranoid.
Oh,
so there's
wow.
truth to it.
Yeah.
And that's accidental. The pirates are using it on purpose.
Oh, no.
They had a saying, and they knew their mythology. They said a single night with Venus could create a lifetime with Mercury.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
my gosh,
that was a
look at
pirate
them.
saying once they got that.
Yes.
Now, they would put it in a brass syringe called a urethral syringe. They would insert it, and plunge that down there. So no wonder Blackbeard was setting his face on fire, cutting people's throats.
Oh, my gosh.
That was the treatment.
That's torture.
They get this. They get this treatment, and Blackbeard keeps his word, and he releases all the pirates. And, well, what they do is they sail away. Blackbeard sails away, so does Stede Bonnet and the other 2 ships. We send out our pirate hunters, and they catch up with Stede Bonnet. They capture him, they bring him back to Charleston, and they take him before Judge Nicholas Trott. Nicholas Trott tries him. Now, he's a silver-tongued devil, and he looks at Judge Trott, and he says, "Your Honor, please cut off my arms, cut off my legs, but leave my tongue so I can sing your praises forever." He says, "Screw that. I'm just going to hang you, and then we're going to put you in a cage and hang you out in the Charleston Harbor for 3 consecutive tides because crabs got to eat too." And that's what they did to him. Now, he haunts the old Exchange building down in the city of Charleston. We talk about him on our Ghost and Dungeon tour.
Yeah.
Now, Blackbeard, though, he sailed away, and he accidentally ran the Queen Anne's Revenge aground over in North Carolina. And he had to scuttle it. He got away. He lived to fight another day, but eventually pirate hunters caught up with him and killed him, and that was the end of the golden age of piracy. So we knew the story was true about the blockade, but the rest of it, Charleston being the only city held hostage because pirates had to clap, that seemed a little far-fetched even for us.
I mean, we are elite. We're an elite setting.
It seemed far-fetched for us, but those archaeologists, though, in North Carolina, they found the Queen Anne's Revenge, and when they started excavating it, they found the syringes.
No.
Yes, they did. So the story is true. We are the only city in the history of piracy ever held hostage because pirates had to clap.
Gee whiz.
Well, we are using that in our tourism industry.
I don't know why it's not on every brochure.
I am an author. I am a writer, so I already have the motto.
Good.
You got the drip, take a trip. See Charleston, Blackbeard did, 1718. There you go. Now I'll leave you with that one. So you got the drip, take the trip.
I love it.
So come see us. Thank you, guys.
Bruce, as usual, you are a primo guest. You are the best storyteller. And I'm telling you, if anybody is ever in Charleston, whether you got the drip or not, find Bruce or go to Bulldog and ask for him by name, because if you don't, you're dumb. You're just dumb. You're missing out on
and just
everything.
Remember, the dark side is not a ghost tour.
The dark side tour is not a ghost story, and it's not fit for children, but it is fit for adults. And if you find yourself in the spirits, you might really be enjoying it.
Absolutely.
So
we definitely cover a lot about spirits in that one.
I'm sure you do. That's awesome.
That's great.
And you give tours all over Charleston?
Yep, I do most of the ghost tours. The dark side is the only history tour I'm doing right now. And,
okay.
I work exclusively for Bulldog.
Okay.
And part of that reason is when John Laverne, our founder of Bulldog Tours, he created it, he was going to put money back into the community. So in about the 20 years that they've been doing this, they put about $5 million back into the community.
I love that.
At all the sites like this one, the Yorktown or Circular Congregational Graveyard or the Old City Jail.
Okay.
So they put their money where their mouth is, and I'm all about preservation and conservation, and so is this company.
That's wonderful. Very good. Well, I love Bulldog. We've taken some tours when we first started coming. I think we took a couple of Bulldog tours, and we loved them. We didn't have Bruce, though. We had no idea what we were missing. But yes, Bruce, thank you so much.
Well,
this is wonderful. Thank you, USS Yorktown. You're a wonderful, majestic lady, and we appreciate your hospitality.
And of all things that we wish you is we wish that you would stay sweet and don't murder.
If you kill people,
this has been Sugar Coated Murder Podcast, a deliciously entertaining true crime podcast. Like what you heard? You can always explore past episodes by visiting sugarcoatedpod.com. Don't forget to like our Facebook fan page and share with friends. Thanks for listening to Sugar Coated Murder Podcast.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.